I'm going to be doing a product review of Fenty Beauty's new bronzer. What is it called? It is called the Stalk'r bronzer. I will be doing a product review of the newish Fenty Beauty bronzer. It is called Stalk'r, and I have the color Caramel Cutie. So if you would like to see my thoughts, opinions, a try-on demo, how I like this product, how it compares to my holy grail, please keep watching. So you guys know that, well, one, I don't have on a full face, so I look very stark right now. I have no dimension to my face at all, but that is why we are getting to the good stuff. But as you guys know, I'm not too into Fenty Beauty. I don't have a lot of the line. I have one lip gloss and one bronzer, and this is one of their newest products, and I was very eager to try it because you guys know that I am obsessed with bronzer. I love a good bronze, especially now that we're into basically the summertime where I live. A bronzer just wakes my face up, gives me color, dimension. It helps to shape my face, and I live for a good bronzer. So I watched a couple of reviews of the Fenty bronzer, and I wanted to try it for myself and see how it compares to my old holy grail. Well, I don't know if it's still my holy grail or not, but how it compares to my holy grail, which is the Guerlain Terracotta bronzer in number 05. So just off of first glance, I didn't think this color Caramel Cutie was going to be dark enough, but we will get into that in the product application. I do want to read to you some specs about this product. First of all, it comes with 6.23 grams, which is a little less than the Guerlain one, so it doesn't come with as much, but this product does retail for $30. You can get it at Sephora, you can get it at fentybeauty.com, maybe, whatever the website is. It comes in 8 shades, so there's pretty much going to be a shade for everyone, which I think is awesome because oftentimes it is very hard to find a bronzer that works with deep skin tones. A lot of times, even for me, it's hard to find a bronzer, and there are many other lovely shades of brown that are deeper than me, and I know a lot of times it's more so how they get the depth that they want without going either too red or too neutral. So you really have to get your shade right, which is why I just always stick to my Guerlain, because I always know that it's going to look perfect and natural on me, and that is what I love. So like I said, I got the color Caramel Cutie. Do I like the packaging? No, I don't like anything that gets fingerprints. It messes with my OCD, but it is a nice packaging. This is what the product looks like inside, and you also have a mirror. Now I want to show it to you alongside my Guerlain bronzer, just so that if you are around my shade or if you use the Guerlain number 5, you can compare the two. So this is my Guerlain and this is the Fenty Beauty. So the Guerlain is definitely a little more red tone, which I tend to like for the summertime because I'm very neutral, but when I get a tan I turn a little red. And in the pan, the Fenty Beauty is a little more neutral. So Caramel Cutie is described as tan to deep with neutral undertones. So there you go. Let's go ahead and apply this bronzer so I can give you guys my thoughts. I have already worn this a handful of times, so this is not my first impression. This really is a review. So it also does not have a smell. I like to mention that just because some beauty products do tend to have a fragrance. I know the Guerlain one does, and that can be off-putting for certain people. So if you are kind of sensitive to fragrance in your beauty, this is not going to irritate you. So I'm just going to take my favorite brush for applying bronzer. This, I believe, is the MAC 130. It is a domed shape fluffy brush. I like using it because I feel it just really gets in. I don't have hollows in my face because I'm round, but I like this type of tapered blush for a nice blended out bronzer. Now, bronzer and contour are different. I tend to use a bronzer in a 3 and an E shape around my face, so I hit my temples, under my jaw line, and also under my cheekbone. I also do bronzer across the bridge of my nose because it helps to bring a little more warmth to my face. So that is how I use bronzer for warmth. So I'm just going to take my brush, kind of swirl it in there, tap off the excess, and start applying it to my cheek. Now, there are different brushes you can use. A lot of people like using an angled brush, but I find that that deposits a little too much color, and I like to have more control over how much I'm applying. So right now you can already tell it's kind of just helped give my face a little dimension between this side and this one. It helps my face to look a little more sculpted, and we are bringing some warmth to my face. Now I also like to hit up my temples, specifically in this area right here, because this is the line where my concealer for my under eye usually starts to get blended out, and I like to make sure that that looks really nice. I also hit my forehead because I do have a large forehead, and it is also nice, especially if you do get darker in the summertime, to have the perimeter of your face be a little bit darker than the inside, especially if your foundation does not match you perfectly. So that's another tip. If you go on vacation and you get a little tan and your foundation is not matching perfectly, throw on some bronzer. It will help. So I'm also going to do the bridge of my nose, and I got that tip from Sephora Pro artist Maisha, whom I love. She actually does videos for Sephora's YouTube page, and I got that tip from her. So you can already see how this side of my face looks way more three-dimensional. I look like I have life in my face, and it doesn't look so chubby, whereas this side is a little more stark and bright, and there's not really much dimension. It just looks very flat. So I'm going to go ahead and apply this to my other side. Okay, so as you can see, I've gone ahead and finished my face out with bronzer. I was a little hesitant when trying this product because one of the reviews I watched was Makeup Shayla, and she used this bronzer, and it actually looked deep enough on her, and she's a little deeper than me, and so I was like, but when I look at swatches, it really didn't look that deep. So I'm not sure what's going on, but this is what the coloring looks like on me. And for reference, I currently am wearing L'Oreal Pro Infallible Matte number 110. I wear NARS Tahoe, but not in the summertime. I wear Lancome 450 Neutral. And that's pretty much it. But this is what the coloring looks like on me. I will say that it's not exactly as red as I would like, and I'm actually gonna go get an angled brush and see if I like applying it that way a little better, just to get a little more depth. So this is the Sephora and Pantone Collection Pro Angled Blush Brush number 49. It's a regular dual fiber synthetic brush that is angled, and I'm going to use this to try to get a more chiseled look. See if that helps. Okay, that definitely helped. So I would say when applying bronzer, because my Guerlain one is a little more finely milled, I would say, and blends a little easier, I tend to use this fluffy brush because I don't want to deposit too much. But because the Fenty one, just gonna say it, girl, it's not the quality of the Guerlain, and that's not being shady, that's just my opinion. That's how I see it. If you do want a higher deposit of color, I would say to use a stiffer brush, but that's all according to your preference. Sometimes I like having tons of bronzer on, but if I'm going work, church, somewhere professional, and I just want to look a little nice and finished, I would use something like this with the Fenty bronzer. So I'm going to finish doing the rest of my face and be back to you guys with my final thoughts. So I have gone ahead and finished up the rest of my face. I will put all the details of everything that I'm wearing down in the description box below. So my final thoughts on this product, I would give it, sorry if it's blinding you guys, I would give it a 3 out of 5 stars. It's definitely not my favorite. I think I prefer much better a bronzer that has a little more red tones in it, because for my skin tone and how I tan, I think it just looks the most natural. This is a very natural looking bronzer on me. Like I've stated, some people of varying skin tones have wore Caramel Cutie and it looks different on them. We just all have different skin and undertones, and that can all go into how a product looks when applied. It is definitely not as finely milled as I'm used to when comparing it to my Guerlain bronzer. I know I watched Naturally Fashionable's product review on this, which I will also link down below, and she said it's a good bronzer, but it's not her favorite, and I would have to agree with those sentiments. Will I repurchase this? Probably not. I would rather spend the extra $20, get a little more product, and use my Holy Grail bronzer because it just gives me a nicer finish. It also also has a little bit of shimmer in it, so it helps to look a little more natural. This is a great product overall. It's just not my favorite, and this is why I often say that I just stick to what I know and like, because when I try things, they really don't compare to the products that I've been using for years and that I know I love. But this is a great product. I think for someone who maybe hasn't tried the Guerlain bronzer, this is a nice one. There's also a better array of color, I think, especially for women and men of color, so that is nice. But I will use this up. I don't know how this will work on me when I get a tan, but for right now, this product is nice and I would recommend it. It's just not my favorite. So I wanted to be sure to bring this review to you guys. You guys know I'm always 100% honest. I'm not going to tell you I love something if I don't. I don't care if the video is sponsored or not. I am here for you guys as the consumer, and I think it's important to have some integrity when we are bringing to you guys these product reviews. So if you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them down below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.